Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this morning's broadcast, or this evening if you're in Europe, of appropriately enough the ESL Go4Battlerite European Tournament. My name is TJ, and I'm joined by the one and only Shadow Fury as we get into today's broadcast over here on twitch.tv/Battlerite, and it's a very special ESL tournament because it is actually the first threes tournament.
Yeah, that's been a little unusual for ESL compared to the rest of the orgs, because every other org has switched to 3v3, including PRL, least recently. Or most recently, sorry. And then now ESL is joining the 3v3 party.
Wow, it's not a party, it's a celebration of Battlerite and the true competitive mode. Is that too far?
A little bit.
A little bit. I don't know, I think 2s has its own viability. I think it's actually probably easier to watch. But 3s has way more competitive depth at this point in the development cycle, and I think that's an objective fact. So, particularly viewers, if you've consistently watched the 2s tournaments, you will definitely start to notice here in 3s how the teams are constructed, how they're playing as units. That's got a lot more depth to it.
Well, anyway, we have Project Horizon coming in with pretty much their standard setup. Fair amount of CC control with the Ash Crow setup. While on the other hand, you have Condemned, Varian, and Hanslow playing the Fortress style you talk about all the time.
Yeah, one of my favourite play styles, and you can see why, as they do make a lot of progress. Esmo over on Condemned is one of the more recent pickups into the competitive meta. You can see exactly how lethal he can be with this front line in front of him. If he's protected, Esmo is one of the highest DPS champions in the game, and this is why, look at Hot Biscuit! He's just crumbling. He would have gone down to that crippling goo, as is. He does go down regardless. Hanswell claims the kill, and this is looking over all too quickly in round 1.
And at this point, I mean, I didn't even notice anything coming out of Project Horizon as far as their standard CC locks. Everything seemed to be focused on avoiding Esmo. That was it. They could try to avoid Condemned, trying to stay out of trouble, but not really actually trying to set themselves up, which clearly did not work out very well for them.
And your mic is a little bit hot, I think, currently. So, go ahead.
Oh, sorry about that.
Adjust that if you can. Just to, you know, bring out that high-quality shadow that we know is in there. As is,
okay, is that better?
No, as is, though, Bruce Lee win the round. And we'll be walking away with a 1-0 lead in the match so far. Of course, this is a best-of-1 Project Horizon versus Bruce Lee. That might seem like absurd seeding, and frankly, I think it is as well. But because it's the first ESL tournament, and ESL only bases their seeding off of past ESL tournaments, this is one of our first round matchups. Get used to it, I guess.
Well, I mean, hopefully it doesn't end up completely wrecking the tournament, but yeah, as long as that's the thing, that should be fine.
Yeah, I mean, there are plenty of very, very good 3s teams still in the tournament, so I'm absolutely sure that it'll be a very, very fun tournament to watch all the way through, and Muzak absolutely not having the fun of his lifetime as he's being destroyed so far by this very aggressive Hanslow right up in his face. There's the bit of the CC lock that composition would be trying for, but it doesn't work for long. Hanslow breaks free, and he's going to be able to regroup with the rest of his team, and look at the slaughter that's happening onto poor Wuzak.
Wow, Wuzak actually... Man, that is quite a lot of survival, actually. I gotta say, Wuzak's doing... Wuzak is doing a fine job keeping themselves from ultimately dying. Well, I can't do anything about it, alright? I've got... What am I supposed to do with the mic? I can't... I had it set up. You told me it was fine.
It's a robot. For the record, you were fine until we went live. But, hey, stuff happens. Speaking of stuff happening, Wuzak's certainly not happening, as he takes a bit of a beating in the back lines. This is kind of an interesting comp him and Hot Biscuit are trying to run, where you will see the extension from the crook. He'll land a stun, he'll roll it through into the stun from the Ashka Flame Strike. Unfortunately, what's instead happening is Wuzak goes in for the deceit, goes in for the stun, and he gets demolished by Hanslow. And I don't think that's his fault. I think Hanslow's just playing out of his mind right now, and the predictions coming through are absolutely supporting it. You can see him covering and now going in on Hot Biscuit. He will fall short, but he's trying his best. There's Wuzak actually finally getting that Venom Wind, and just like that, Wuzak has turned around on his head. And now Hanslow, suddenly one of 2 players alive for his team. He'll crumble in a 1v3, and this poor Esmo of Condemned is left all alone, separated from his team, and he'll go down as well. I always feel bad for Esmo. I don't quite know what he is, but he feels like childlike, and I feel like I should feel bad for him.
I think he's some kind of demon of some kind.
Yeah. And oh boy, all the tech issues are happening now, as I do see a little bit of lag on the stream as well. Hey, you know, things happen. Welcome to the postcard stream. We're going to be mailing you another frame in about 4 to 6 business days. It should go ahead and resolve itself. I swear to God, everything was fine.
Am I still messy?
A little bit.
Oh, for God's sake, I don't know what I can do about it. On my end, it's fine.
Just speak calmly and quietly.
Well, that's not going to help technical issues.
Well, there's an ice smack. Ooh, Hanslow! That's a great opening combo. It'll be very low HP now on Wuzak in the back lines as he continues to fall back. That was a savage opening salvo, but it was answered back in turn. You can see the low HP on Hanslow. He needs to receive the healing from his team. But he won't get that just yet. Varian tries to provide that clarity potion to blow back any opposition. He will indeed succeed in it. Timebender rebuffs the temporary attack onto the Croak, but look at the low HP on Hanslow and Condemned. They're both so close to falling. That ultimate, though, it goes instead on their Lucy. As a result, that means Varian has to stop, heal himself up. That opens up the window for Condemned to go down, but he somehow manages to stay alive. That's not what can be said for Varian, though, who will crumble. Hanslow and Condemned, both with no HP, will go down simultaneously. And like that, it's now 2-1 in favour of the blue side. And that is
Project Horizon really has the control game on point now. I'm amazed by that now. That is what I wanted to see. That is what I expected to happen in the first place, and that is what's happening. So, well done, you guys.
Yeah, their control, like you're saying, is absolutely incredible. And you can see they're just tight control in the center. And that's been able to push the opposing side completely out of the center of the arena, and it's been able to completely shut down a sort of orb control that could have come through for Bruce Lee, and you can see the effect of that coming through. And again, Bruce Lee taking a beating. Hanslow and Varian Condemned. They're trying for the center control, and they're having a bit more success this time. They will be able to secure the first orb as well, and you can see the effect that has. Now Wuzak, Hot Biscuit, they're forced back. They're forced to play a little bit more passively. There's Hot Biscuit using the conflagration. Battlerite to throw out a few fireballs through the flame wall, but it won't be enough. He needs to secure center. They need to get orb, because now the deadly injections, the chip game is beginning to roll through, and there's the second orb secured now. This time for Project Horizon. That evens up the HP, and this means that now Hanslow and co are on notice. That's a huge Venom win. Esmo goes down. Condemned gets ultied. He goes down in an instant. Hanslow slays the Ashka of Hot Biscuit. An instant return. Now we're in a 2v2. We're back to 2's Battlerite here on the ESL broadcast, and you do see the crippling goo flying out from Varian to go ahead and provide himself a safe place to fight, but that won't last forever, and the second it falls, Wuzak blanks team together for a kill, leaving poor Rook. It's just a sweet boy, misunderstood in a very, very rough situation. Hanslow will swing free for a moment, but I'm not really sure this 1v2 is possible. He does actually read the stun quite nicely. And with the second tick of the deceit will allow Wuzak to clean up, and that's 3-1 now in favour of Project Horizon.
Yeah, it seemed like they're just not wanting to go down anymore. They figured out what it is they need to do, how they need to set things up, how to set themselves up, and then they've just gone with it. And that's worked quite nicely.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, Discord sucks. Okay? That's all I can say.
Well, hopefully we can go ahead. Yeah, you do sound
I'll just
slightly
restart
better.
Discord.
Okay. Well, hopefully we can go ahead and resolve that, because it certainly isn't ideal. But all things will improve. Technical issues will be cleaned up, and Nazis can be removed from the Twitch chat. There's Hansel throwing a quick little boulder to open up the action in this next round. There'll be a fair bit of damage already coming through, but look at the low HP on Varian. Varian's having a very rough day so far, and it's going to be pretty good for the rest of his team. But there's the CC lock going through, and I love the stun from the time travel as well onto Hansel. That focuses so much healing, and the second it shifts away, Varian gets focused. There's Blanks, there's Wuzak, they both focus through. The trade kill goes both ways. Hot Biscuit and Varian are the players to fall, leaving us in a 2v2. But Condemned and Hansel do not have a healer. They need to secure every orb like that one, and they need to get burst damage through, otherwise they will just lose the chip game over time here. And Hansel taking perhaps an unwise 2v1 in an attempt to chase down Wuzak. His counter won't be popped, and now where's Condemned? Where is he? He needs to help out. There's the ultimate going out. He's timed it well, but the time trouble will thwart his plans. Blanks now burning all of his EX to dodge that one attack, but this is still possible for either side as Condemned drops very, very low on HP. He needs some orbs. He needs some HP nuggets. He needs to pick up some sort of healing. He's currently sitting with just 24 points in total. Will be able to hang out behind his meat shield for the time, but his big manly meat shield is dwindling. Hansel, that is. The big manly man will be separated from him and dropped so low on HP he can't possibly hope to win this 1v2.
He actually went down to a toxin of all things. Or a toxin spit of all things.
Shadow! You're normal!
Yeah, Discord on my end must have been screwy. I just restarted. Everything's fine. Like, anyone in chat talking shit about my mic? This thing cost, well, originally cost $800. So yeah, I actually have like $1,000 plus setup here. Stupid Discord made it sound like a laptop microphone. Thanks, Discord.
So how's that webcam treating you, Shadow?
It's still not working.
Tap. Well, what have you been able to keep pace with this game so far?
For the most part, yeah. And I'm getting the impression that basically this one Project Horizon realizes what you said about Condemned, but also just went, well, you know what? Get rid of Varian. I mean, always get rid of the healer, if you can.
Oh, yeah.
Although I think that Wuzak may be overextending it, but keeping their team alone. That being said, Varian's not able to heal anything, so this is working out just fine.
That'll be the ultimate Venom Wind completely wasted at the top of the board. Down at the bottom, you have the low HP Ashka. Using that time travel to his advantage to get a temporary stun onto Hansel. But Hot Biscuit still needs to watch his HP, particularly as Condemned comes through. There's the silence right into the ulti. Excellent play. Chaos Grip coming in key. That will allow one kill guaranteed. And now, Wuzak and Blanks need to pull something out of the bag, else it looks like they're going to lose yet another round. There's a nice chain. The crippling coup as Condemned picks up just another kill, and now this is 2 rounds on the board for Bruce Lee.
Well, that's nice for them. I mean, it's good that they didn't get completely shut out after that first round win, because they seemed to have a bit of a hard time getting a grip on exactly how Project Horizon had gotten used to them, but once they figured out that the split that came out from Wuzak might not have been the best idea and how to take advantage of that and just get rid of Hot Biscuit, then it was good, because if they get rid of Hot Biscuit, there's not a whole lot of damage that'll be put on them. Wuzak can do some, Blanks can do some, but Hot Biscuit is the major damage dealer on that team.
Well, let's see how it works out now as Condemned tries to adjust to what just happened, and he's definitely trying to focus Wuzak, but he's been kind of drawn away by the pressure from this time goat, the time llama. Now Wuzak's the focus. Now Condemned's trying to rein in the damage. Varian, though, is definitely the target of Wuzak, and that overextension could cost him in the long run if Condemned can land his hits. And there it is. Nice silence, but no punish off the top of it. And Deceit's going to be allowed to roam free. There's the in-cap. Stun won't land thanks to a well-timed roll. But oh, that's a huge orb steal. Did you catch that?
Yeah, that was get it out of the way. Hansel almost had it, and Wuzak took it away from them, and that gave them the power they needed. I mean, if it weren't for that, I'm pretty sure Varian would have survived that ultimate, that Infernal Scorch coming in there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't... What happened, if you didn't catch it, was Infernal Scorch just fed right into Wuzak's ultimate Venom Wind, which he wouldn't have had up if he hadn't been able to steal that orb. That orb was absolutely the turning point of the round, because now it's looking very, very hard for Hanslel and Condemned to win. Now, I say very, very hard because it's not impossible. They're putting up a good fight of it. Condemned, so has to fall back, and he's going to get stunned. There's the burst
Time travel did it.
Oh, Jesus. That was intense. That is a ridiculous amount of damage.
Yeah, time travel will finish them off. If it weren't for that, I could see Condemned managing to get back from there as long as they didn't die, but they died. And at that point, there wasn't much left because Hanslel, they're a good player, but 3v1 for anybody is almost impossible.
Well, that'll be all 5-2. Project Horizon in their threes form advanced throughout the Go4Battlerite European Cup number 19. Elsewhere in the bracket, we have a wide variety of other results going through. We had, firstly, I should say, we do apologise for a bit of a rough start we had there. Few different technical issues all coming together at once.
Well, Discord, and Discord all coming together at once.
And a little bit of encoding at the same time. We had the postcard frame rate and the webcam potato mic, and it was
right. Yes.
Yeah, it was not ideal, but hopefully we've gotten past it, and we will be continuing with the coverage of the ESL Battlerite tournament today. Elsewhere in the bracket, like I was mentioning, Broken Comp Soaring are advancing via a bye to face off against Game On, who have just eliminated Silver Boys and B. The only other teams knocked out are knocked out by TRT Republic, who are advancing to face off against YouTube Topplerite. Random Pug has knocked out No Lag Just Skill. Well, it said no lag, and I was like, wow, that's a weird thing to be proud of.
Well, I mean, it's true.
True, there is no LAN client. Got her. And Ostro Kalego has also knocked out Misha's Guinea Pigs. The winner of our matchup.
Point, yeah, against the Vigilantes, who is not super familiar to me. Hang on. Who's the Vigilantes? They are made up of not familiar to me at all.
Ban, Jeppin, and Scumbag, none of whom I've ever heard of before. So hopefully we have some new blood coming into the scene. However, I fear that new blood might be shed. The new blood might be dripping from the roofs, Shadow.
And the ceilings and the walls and everything else, because they'll just be splattered across the entire inside of the arena.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it could use a paint job.
Yeah, no, I like red.
I mean, you see a black door and you just want to paint it red.
No, I don't ever have that urge.
Really? Oh, it's just me. Okay. It takes a lot of red paint, though. I gotta be honest, you're probably taking an economical tack.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you're looking for painting material, particularly red paint, I would recommend Blood. It's fairly cheap.
I mean, it's ubiquitous.
Yeah, you can get it for free as well, and it's kind of hard to tell the difference between Blood and red paint. So I absolutely understand why you would decide to go for that interior decorating option.
Well, the problem is you only get like 5 liters per person, so you have to be economical about it.
I mean, here's a good question: does Krug bleed normal blood?
Well, it's a frog, so probably.
But he's like an alien frog or something, isn't he?
I mean, maybe. I'm not sure if it's an alien or just sort of that weird humanoid mythical creature thing that everyone does.
I'm just saying, there's substantial evidence that he might bleed green or something. There's definitely the possibility of it.
Are you suggesting that his toxin blade is his own blood?
Oh my god, that's dark but amazing. In my head, that is now true. I don't care how actually true it is. It is for me. Alright, well, tell you what, we're going to go ahead and go to a quick break until we absolutely understand what our next match is going to be, because I do believe we're deciding between a few different matches we could broadcast. So we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. We'll come back with our next match in a few moments. And we should be able to get right into the game before you even realise. So, in the meantime, sit back, think about some jazz. We're going to have some jazz. Enjoy the smooth jazz. Drink some tea. It's early in the morning. And we will be back before you realise. Ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately we must interrupt this jazz stream to bring you the one and only ESL Battlerite, or ESL Battlerite, European Cup number 19, Go4Battlerite 3v3 edition. My name is, of course, still TJ, still with the only, the one and only, the beautiful only, Shadow Fury. And we do apologise for the delay. We did have one team not show up. They've now been disqualified, so of course the brackets advanced without them. Now we're watching Broken Comp Story versus Let's Go. And Shadow, can you break down these two teams?
So Broken Comp Story is, let's see, on our PRL tournaments, they are consistently top 4, especially given that EU has the lag issues. But they are, for EU, as a scene inside EU, I'm not entirely sure how strong they are. I would probably put them top 10, somewhere in the middle of that. As for Let's Go, Minnie and Clerney are, of course, well-known. Jackasm is a strong player that I've seen, but I haven't seen them in a while. So I'm not sure that they're playing right now. And Clerney, interestingly, is playing Jade. I don't really call him being a Jade player. Minnie, as I recall, is more of a Lucy player. But Clerney, I believe, is also often support player. So I'm excited to see them play Jade. Given that Jade is not considered a particularly strong hero, though she did get buffed recently, I want to see how they play it out. I want to see them do well with it. Because low tier power? Low tier power.
At least to me, this is an odd composition over on Let's Go. Right? I don't think I've ever seen this exact threes comp run before.
I think the idea is to do something like Croak Ashka, but with Shifu Jade. Like, do that same kind of control CC lock setup, except with less CC and more stickiness.
Well, it's an interesting theory. We'll see how it plays out already. The counter will be popped for a deep backline dive from Jackasm. And he even does the Fleetfoot and double tendon slash for the double in gap before he's tracked to be in by 2-1-3. Probably decent damage across the board now, as Jack is actually having significant effect, and Clerney's doing a good job reining in the damage from beyond. This means the other side's going to be forced out to save Xanox from potentially fatal damage. They do secure first orb, but there's another ultimate going out, and look at how many ults, look at how much healing is being forced out just to keep the players alive currently over on Broken Comp Story. There's the powers combined. Jack will survive, but only barely, and actually he's chased down deep in the backlines by 2-1-3. The train kill could come through if that snipe had landed from Clerney. It won't, though. He's going to try and pull back as best he can, and that really turned on its head.
And I'm quite surprised, though. I mean, really, it looked strong, but it was a matter of Jackasm got a little overextended early on, and that put them in the position they were in, where their HP was too low to be able to effectively escape. And of course, they ended up dying thanks to 2-1-3 just sneaking up behind them with a shotgun.
I was all excited. I was like, Jack's doing work. This is incredible. Let's play off of this.
Yeah, it's...
And then it fell
apart. Just that overextension over the southwest. They got surrounded a bit. They took it well, and the Fleetfoot was nice, but that the second Javelin, the Fleetfoot, like they just pushed a little bit too far, had no escapes to easily get out of there. and then they were about half HP by the time they managed to escape and get back to their team.
Well, Clooney, hopefully, will allow his team to learn from the mistakes of previous rounds. Look at Jack, though. He's just used his counter, got absolutely nothing with it, so he needs to watch out now because there's that same chase coming through this round, and he's dropped down to below half HP yet again. However, there is still a significant focus going through onto the top of the map. 213 did take damage, but the trade onto Jack, just in terms of pure numbers, not even accounting for the frontline versus backline role, that is not an acceptable trade in terms of damage.
No, and the entire time we had Clooney just operating as something of the frontliner wall. But even then, they were trying to take out 213, and they dealt hardly any permanent damage. At this point, it's possibly a stun. I mean, there's not a great stun in the whirlwind. There we go, double ultimate to maybe get some damage off.
Oh, that's huge!
There we go. Some progress has been made.
And then you have the ultimate silence onto 213 as well. His ultis completely cancel out. Jack goes on a rampage, gets 1, 2, 3 kills almost as soon as he confirms it onto 213. That was a round that turned again, but that time it looked like Jack was floundering. That made a horrible trade in terms of damage. And then he came in with the whirlwind and had 2 targets out another side and guaranteed massive damage onto the other Xenox in this time. And then Clooney came through. He spotted that Xenox had just used his counter completely in vain, just by reflex because he was taking damage, and opened up his ulti and killed him.
Well, I mean, it was time travel on top of that. Time travel really set that up. Jackasm took advantage of it. Mini set it up. And Clooney did a great job, I think, keeping the opposing team at bay while they got that setup going, because a lot of that was fighting 2 and 3 in the Northwest, keeping themselves alive enough. Like, it was still a 2v1, but Jackasm, yeah, you're right, didn't get a lot. Clooney did. Mini got the meter. See if they can repeat that.
Well, there's Xenox now extending deep into the enemy back lines. He won't, though. Too much damage. Indeed, he takes a fair bet, as does Jack, though, and fair trade to the other side. Other side will bail Xenox out, or will be secured this time by Let's Go. With a decent amount of HP and fully X on multiple characters. There's the whirlwind coming out from Jack, but he doesn't get anything for it. Instead, he gets absolutely roasted. He's now dropped down to 1 segment of HP with a little bit extra on the side. But Xenox want to eat that up.
Xenox. Oh man, I don't know about Xenox though. That tendon swing just about set them up for a kill. Not quite managing though. It looks like Clooney should have probably done a snipe at that point. Didn't work out, but thankfully for them, 2-1-3 does go down. And Clooney, are you about to go down too? Because if you are, that snipe is not going to be the thing to take you out. Oh wait, there it is. There's a snipe. There's the counter, and that's basically just baiting. There we go.
Oh, collapse!
That made it work.
That was very well done, Matt.
That was the first time I've seen a match win by suicide. I mean, really, that's how the match ended.
Explain that because Twitch chat's already roasting me for not being informative.
Okay,
so you're explaining that.
Randler threw in, hit them. So the snipe got them down to like 1 HP, and their own bolt smacked into them from Chronoflux. What? Oh, okay. So basically, there was a Chronoflux in the northwest corner. After Clooney's snipe, Randler had thrown in some soul bolts into it, and one of them smacked back into Randler to finish them off, ending the match. So Randler ended up getting the final hit.
Well, we have gotten into the next round now, and Jack once again will play this aggressive role. As a Shifu, I suppose, very much should. He's doing it fairly well. Look at Xenox, though, in the backlines. He took damage from 2. It will affect him, force him to fall back so that the shift, the main focus of Broken Comp, can come through. Bringing it to bear on either Rambler or 213. Xenox actually taking decent damage in the backlines while the 2v2 is happening. Jack is doing a great job here of just drawing the attention, separating the opposing side, and that sets up for the snipe. Now you have the ultimate coming through. Counter will be popped though. Xenox is able to survive that ultimate. And you do have the machine gun coming through as well, but no one's going to be able to gather up for a second. Rambler and co. buying that little bit of time with the ultimate, with the ancestral spirit. Now Jack, very, very low, will be able to survive off the back of his whirlwind despite having no HP to his name. That means he now has 0 EX charge and 0 HP.
And we see Clerney just setting up as they are mostly just dealing damage, as Jackasm taking all the damage, and I mean that. Oh, this is the machine gun finished up. There goes Jackasm, finally taken out. But at the same time, 2-3 loses their life as the payment for getting rid of Jackasm. We're into a 2v2 situation, which puts Xanox pretty much 1 or 2 snipe, well, basically a snipe and a chronobolt away from death. And there's the setup for the snipe. There's the snipe. Ooh, other siding just to get the save. So at least that will keep themselves alive. But Xanox right now really should stop trying to be so frontline, because Randler is having to save them all the time at this point.
Clerney with ultimate. Mini also bringing it up. You have to worry about the EX advantage now, because Randler does have the ability to go and drop Ancestral Spirit, but that's all they have, in contrast to the 2 ultimates and full Chrono Flux that could be bought on the other side. There is that Ancestral Spirit now. Xanox and Randler are essentially wiped of EX, but they do use that ultimate, the Ancestral Spirit, to secure Orb, which gives them a farm put back, and that's a very, very good conversion by Randler. Now though, the second that counter's been forced out, now it's a question of when's the other side coming out, and if they can be forced out in quick succession, we will undoubtedly see that ultimate from Clerney come flying through. There's the counter, popped, ultimate coming through, powers combined will be dodged by the time travel. There's the stun coming through, there's the other side. That could have been huge, but instead it was popped just a little bit too early by Clerney, and now as a result, it's going to be very, very hard, potentially, to complete the kill, because you do have a full healing Randler still available here. The counter's going to be popped, there's the stun on the mini. Some HP damage across, but still Randler is taking damage. Still, he's losing the HP battle in the long run. Unless they can do some significant burst, it will be tough. There's the ultimate, powers combined will be cancelled out when the panic comes through. Jade goes out of the arena. Now Randler will be able to other side, so he doesn't take any damage for the next few moments, and if he's able to win this HP battle, healer versus healer, which he does manage to barely with the soul transfer, he's going to be able to walk away with the round.
How did they do that? That turnaround. I had it that it was entirely Let's Go's game up until the sudden death fog got to about the outer ring. At that point, it's like, oh, maybe it'll work.
Oh, wait. What's happening on the stream?
What?
This stream has a disco party going. What? That's a bizarre issue you're having right there. Drop there. Of course, a wonderful cameraman today running the stream, but that's certainly a.
It's also kind of irrelevant. I point that out as 2-3 is taking huge amounts of damage. Once again, we do see where Let's Go's comp works, is trying to collapse into one player and just stick on them enough and not get a hit at the same time. And that's exactly what's happening to 2-3 as Clerney just getting tasered out from pretty much getting the finishing kill. And even then, all the attention is 2-1. Xanox, never mind. Xanox as well.
Xanox actually used all of his outs preemptively, which could have cost him, but the other side did save him from that helpful blow. But now you've got the burst damage coming through. That's what you theorize could be effective onto Randler. And there it is yet again. The ultimate comes through, machine gun to answer back and buy some time. But that just opens it up, because Jack's counter drops him right in the backline to do some shift damage onto 2-1-3 and center control. As a result of all that, is firmly in favour of Let's Go. We're going to be able to pick up the orb. Now, Jack shakes it in, but he's not back yet. On Adult Swim yesterday, but not today. Now, Xanox actually is overextended, and there's no other side to save him. So he goes down early. Randler needs to provide the healing if he can. He will be able to provide Phantasm to eat up a ton of damage if he can just maybe keep 2-1-3 alive for long enough. It's possible, but no. There are the explosive shots coming through. 1 kill guaranteed. 2-1-3's in a desperate, if not impossible, scenario.
I would call it impossible, being as they are currently dead. But that's where, like I said, that is what the composition is supposed to do. And I pointed out earlier, Jade's considered low tier. Definitely in North America, Jade's getting considered low tier. I've seen more Jades in Europe than in North America, so I can understand the confusion if you're a European player. And also, Jade is quite strong in pre-made teams if played right. But there's not a lot of pre-made teams I've seen that use Jade, so that's where my analysis is coming from.
Now, this Jade, been a fairly effective one so far.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, they've been doing a wonderful job just staying out of trouble and making sure to deal as much damage as they can at just by the right range. The accuracy is not as great. I'm guessing Clerney hasn't practiced a huge amount with that, but even then, they've been staying alive, and that's what matters.
It was an excellent orb steal that came through to secure orb for Broken Comp Story. That enables an ultimate, of course, from 213, which does decent damage, but I think should come of it if Jack is able to escape. He burns an EX to try and escape, but doesn't guarantee it by far. And second orb actually goes to his opponents, which means he's now at a massive HP disadvantage. He's being burned alive at a barbecue. It's almost as bad as Twitch chat roasting me, but won't be a confirmed kill, and Jack will continue that aggression. That is the Shifu way, the Shifu playstyle, and probably a little bit of a save from that time travel will protect him for the time being. Or, yet again, secured by his opposition. This is tough from there. His machine gun coming through. Explosive shells is the only answer back, but it's being countered entirely by an excellent Ancestral Spirit, which actually confirms the first kill. The rest should follow. That's now 3-3, tied up on the board.
And that was an example of Broken Comp realizing what to do. Just keep themselves from getting any of their members split off so that there's no easy way for Let's Go to collapse on them and break them apart one at a time. Because that game was in stark contrast to the last game where we saw 2-1-3 get out of position and then get swarmed. And then Xenox got out of position and got swarmed. This game, no one got out of position, and Broken Comp was able to maintain a strong position. And this time we see it seems to be happening again, although 2-3 is getting baited out somewhat, but Xenox is staying with them just to make sure that nothing too untoward will happen.
Watch Jack, he's a bit separated from his healer here. Other side's been forced out, as have the counters, but Tony's snipe won't land, which means that Jack's damage, anything he takes, will be permanent, because he doesn't have any support against burst damage. Nobody's stunned out. Now finally a bit comes through, but the time travel which saved Jack only able to guarantee a stun. There's the double in cap from the Tended Flash, which will feed right into an ultimate. There are the explosive shells, but just not enough damage because Randler is completely untouched here in the backlines. Indeed, dropping that Ancestral Spirit in an attempt to get an aggressive board pick. Doesn't work out for him, but I definitely appreciate the attempt. And now Jack's the next target. He's being roasted alive. He's being challenged from all sides. The counter is completely ignored, but time travel yet again will be there to bail him out. And now you've got the stun rolling through. Counter popped on Xenox. He's into the backlines, but he's got ultimate powers combined. We'll get 1, 2, almost 3. Jack should fall, but he's somehow managed to escape again with his ultimate, providing the damage to drop 2 and 3 incredibly low in the backlines, and indeed Xenox almost equally low in the front lines.
This looks like they did get split up. As much as Broken Comp really tried, there is still the split up. 2-3 is so split up. I'm a bit surprised that we aren't seeing Let's Go just drop onto 2-3, finish them off, and then deal with the rest of it. It looks like Jackism tried to go for that and didn't. Their team was not supporting him on that one, which leads us into a 1v3. If 2-3 goes down, this might work, but I don't see that happening quickly. Snipe's been used. No. Clerney's got not much else. Their smoke belt might be up, but there it is, but it's nowhere near enough at this point.
Bye,
they have
Clerney.
so little
Have
to work
fun.
with.
Bye.
Oh, they almost had it. I once again thought it was Let's Go's game until near the end, where it was a bit of a... They fell apart. They didn't go for 2-3 when they had the chance, and 2-3's ultimate just went for it. I mean, Jackism tried, but they had too little HP to pull that off.
I was watching that on the replay, and 2-3 actually snapped his machine gun 180 degrees at just the right moment, and then as soon as he got significant damage, he threw his taser back into the middle of the action to get 2 stuns. That was quite nice mechanical play.
Yeah, really, at this point, 2-3's IVA play is just a clinic.
Well, it's always nice to watch clinics. And Jack is attempting to show us that he's just as good at Shifu, but he's having a rough time so far because 2-3's been able to read him like a book and trade damage quite well. Now time travel yet again will bail him out. Excellent uses of it throughout the game to save his teammate from Mini, but no, it might not be enough. There's the double in cap, but it will only last onto 1 as damage breaks out. Another explosive shells come through and actually try for a significant DPS onto Rambler, but they will be able to get Orb, and it's not a sustainable position just based off the amount of EX and that HP advantage, now leading the way for Broken Comp from that Orb capture.
And Xenox getting pulled away, which did not work out for them. I mean, it's the counter is intentionally being procced, but that didn't actually work out for Let's Go. And at this point, again, Jack is getting countered again, and Jack did not want that to happen. I guess the counter is to keep them alive, but that worked in the opposite way, completely backfiring and setting them up for the possible loss here. As Let's Go getting just barely dodging Xanox's ultimate.
Yeah.
Clerney is able to stay out of there, but it doesn't matter. It's split up.
It is
the only one left.
Clerney, explosive shots maybe. No equalizer coming through. He looks like he'll crumble. And like so, Broken Comp Story will advance throughout the tournament. Jack popping his counter. A few times that happened to him. He got ulted, or some damage came his way, and he popped his counter, and that put him in the back lines. And then they put such significant threat on him that he had to use his fleet foot to try and escape. The problem is, then he's stuck in no man's land with no escape abilities, and that was every single time his undoing.
And that's the thing, is I was pointing out with Xanox getting their counter procced, is the same idea with Jack with Shifu. And it's better with Shifu, as you mentioned, because of the amount of effort required. With Varesh, meter is required to get out of there for reform, but you don't have as much of a no man's land period. And also, you still have your shield, and you still have, I mean, Varesh doesn't have a lot of escapes to begin with, so there you go. But it clearly didn't work for Xanox. It worked far better against Jack. And both teams seem to be going for that intentional counter proc in order to get a better position.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting thing. Normally when we see that playstyle, we see it run with a Paloma, because the other... and there's the other side to bail you out. And we saw it a bit, actually, in that situation with the time travel. That fulfilled that role a few different times, but of course it's an ultimate, so it's not up all the time, so... the constant aggression that Shifu kind of has to do to stay relevant was unfortunately Jack's undoing. Either way...
I got to point out that you mentioned before that something about being read like a book, and that, as far as I found, described Let's Go's play in general. Clerney seemed to be the least predictable, but both Jack and Mini just seemed like they were doing the same thing over and over. And after the first few rounds, it was clear that Broken Comp knew exactly what Jack was up to, knew enough of what Mini was up to. Clerney was learning to be unpredictable and snapping their snipes in different ways to make sure that it wasn't clear who to other side or who to shield or who should use escape moves.
And to be fair, you know, they did lose, but you still give a shout out to Clerney and a shout out, if you can, to Mini, because that was very effective play from them. Clerney, one of the more impressive Jades I've seen recently, and definitely those time travels were clutch several times out of the Time Llama in Chief. Well, we're going to go ahead, I believe, and take a quick break. And Tolerant, elsewhere in the bracket, did beat out Project Horizon, for those of you that followed the scene. That's a bit of an interesting result, so we're definitely going to have to swap around what match we're watching next, try and find a way that we can go ahead and spectate that matchup, because I want to see what Intolerant are doing right. Either way, this has been the Battlerite RIGHT broadcast of today's ESL Go4Battlerite European Cup number 19. My name has been TJ. Drop Bear's been running the production, and my co-commentator throughout all this has been Shadow Fury 333. Unfortunately, this brief intermission with gameplay will now end, and we're going to go back to the Smooth Jazz broadcast. You guys all came here for the music, of course, provided by OC Remix. Their Chrono Trigger Jazz remix, I believe is the name of the album. And it's very, very good, and I would suggest you guys heading over to OC Remix and checking out their own video game remix tracks, because they're all very, very cool. Don't go anywhere. Be right back. You want to sit right down next to us in this Battlerite cafe, chill, have a nice long drink of your coffee as we round out the European tournament. We've reached the semi-finals of the €150 ESL Go4Battlerite European tournament number 19. My name is TJ. I've been joined by the one and only Shadow Fury. Shadow, how's this cafe of jazz and sweet Battlerite treating you?
Yeah, man.
You just sound stoned. That's not the kind of cafe this is.
I live in Vancouver, damn it. I also have never actually had
Fair
marijuana,
enough.
but I live in Vancouver, damn it.
Fair enough. No, Vancouver, I'm sure, has enough hipsters for there to be cafes with jazz and weed. That would make sense.
There's like 4 marijuana shops downtown within like a few blocks of my work alone. So yeah, it's kind of scary actually.
Well, speaking of things that aren't scary, this amazing match, CIIIB versus Intolerant. Currently underway, BO4 Barcode, Crazy, over on the left-hand side, making up Kib. And over on the right, you do have, of course, Intolerant, Nye, Joltsy, Iska. I'd say they're my favourites, but they're taking a hell of a beating in the opening phase of this round.
Yeah, BO4 is just wrecking them completely, which is actually kind of surprising. BO4 normally, as I recall, playing Freya, but this time going for Rukan instead, and showing us that they're perfectly competent with Rukan.
He's barely alive right now, actually, burning the X for the shield. Nice flick, though, on the Chaos Grip, lands the silence onto Barcode. If he can stay alive, this might be possible. They've done an incredible amount of damage. It won't be enough, though. But all the credit to them, they made that interesting well after it should have been.
Yeah, this is a strong opening coming in here from Seeb, or Cheeb, or Keeb. Somebody let me know how to pronounce that. I'd be very thankful.
Let me look through it. Where are they from? Oh, they're a Russian team, I think.
Yeah.
Wait, I can get. Yeah, they're Russian. So I'm gonna go Keeb. I'm gonna go hard on the C. Keeb. I don't know if that's true. Maybe that's a little bit racist, but I'm going with that based on pronunciation of words.
All right then, go with Keeb for now.
Well, speaking of going with Keeb, I can say a few players are, and look at Joltsy doing exactly that. Deep dives into the back lines. Won't be able to stop them from securing Orb, but he's managed to get significant damage on his primary threat from last round, BO4, who's definitely his focus right now. He will be able to dodge the vast majority of the outgoing damage. Nice claw, though. Temporarily threatens Iska, but there's an ulti to force out all the escapes. No follow-through, though, which could be lethal, particularly as BO4 does do a decent amount of damage. He will be slain in the end, though. Iska now has the crippling goo. There's the crippling goo flying out. Oh, that focus on the Barcode, and the clarity potion back in tractor beam forces indeed a lot of the crippling goo as well. Looking all down to Crazy now as his teammates have all fallen, and he'll join them. That's the scoreline tie up 1-1.
Well, I mean, I'm sure you wanted to point out how great Jolts was playing that, but looking at the numbers, Nye contributed equally. They were both just wrecking everything. I mean, definitely Jolts did a lot of BO4 hate, but still, there were 2 other players in the team, and Iska and Nye made sure that they weren't causing too many problems.
Mute Clown just kind of made me look silly in chat. He points out it's probably a combination of their names, because it's C for Crazy, part of the Barcode, and then BO4. B for BO4. I don't know, I'm going to keep calling them T because we've made a decision though. So we're sticking with it. You can't go back.
Crazy has a heart C.
Yeah, there you go. More justification. BO4 actually taking a beating again, and there's the Flame Strike to try and buy him out. That's an insane amount of damage for him to take so soon, and Nye isn't done yet. He's overcommitting, maybe. This could be lethal for him. If he has to stay in there any longer than he has already, he will be able to fall back. Actually, Joltsy will do likewise as they do isolate BO4 on the backline. He's going to try and hold out, but he won't get the chance. He's going to go down instantly. Now time travel comes through, lands the stun on Crazy, who's their primary focus. Well, Joltsy runs circles around the ulting. Shadow Beast BO4 in the backlines, and go down as well. Leaving it all once again isolated, slightly toasty, very dead Llama.
That was basically won by a taser. Like, all the work done to keep Barcode from doing anything was that perfectly timed taser. Very well done, Nye.
I mean,
credit to the team.
To talk about, I'm assuming you're talking about shutting down that ultimate, right?
Yeah.
So he got out, he drew a lot of the attention away from his team, and then he went ahead, he tried to pop his ulti, and that would have done decent damage and gotten him back to his team. but he just got tased, he got stunned right out of it, and obliterated before he got a second chance at anything.
But I mean, if it weren't for that, I could easily see them having won that match.
Iska actually taking a beating now. Very well played with that firewall from Barcode. BO4 though is still taking a decent amount of focus. Joltsy reining in the damage as always. Iska fairly low, having to play back with Nye, but Joltsy's still going to play aggro. He's still going to rein in the close range damage. He's still going to get kills because he's still Joltsy on Esmo, and you really need to pin him down, otherwise he just runs rampant like this. Finally, there's a stun coming through. Barco trying to do it, but it's too late. There's an ultimate. There's another kill. There's 2 kills, in fact. And just like so, Intolerant now 3-1.
I honestly had a hard time seeing how that ended out, because it was just everything collapsing together into taking out Barcode and Crazy. And once again, BO4 is kind of overextending. I feel like they need to fall back a little bit and just play a safer style where they're staying back, they're holding the fort for Barcode, so Barcode can actually do some damage rather than trying to do all the damage themselves.
I mean, we'll keep an eye on it this round, but I think it's actually a really good question whether or not they're overextending, because you always have to remember, with Joltsy and Nye, they both have enough mobility on their characters. The front line can be wherever they'd like it to be. So you can see right now, Joltsy and Nye will dive into the back lines. They will commit there, but they're going to have to fall back after a time because that pressure, so they're handling it much better. I suppose credit to them. You know, for Barcode actually focusing through the Joltsy. I think they made the right call. They've said, you're squishy and you're isolated. Will be decent damage dealt. Orb still claimed, but now it's Nye's turn, and takes a fair bit as well. Chaos Grip does land for a silence, and more than half HP through onto BO4. There's the crippling goo flying through, forcing out all the outs across the board, so a follow through can come through, and I believe it's just in the wings. Barcode though, his own answer. He'll try to go back. The Shadow Beast ult coming through from BO4. He should grab Orb, but he's not able to do it. That might be lethal if Nye doesn't go down. Everything else could for the other side, and that's an example of what Joltsy drops his ultimate, grabs a kill at the top. Nye stays alive miraculously at the bottom. And now with the barrier to his side, he's going to be able to shut down BO4. Barcode is left all alone. Very, very dead. 4-1 now in favour of Intolerant.
It's definitely the right idea there. It's just coming in from Seeb. But it just got split out. I mean, yeah, but BO4 got split out. I mean, the thing is, BO4's ultimate was popped way out of position. And that was just a symptom of how far away they'd been knocked from their team at that point.
Well, let's keep an eye on it. As you can see, they're trying to focus Joltsy, at least they tried to in the early stage of last round. And I do think that's the right call. However, look at that. BO4's been isolated now. He will use the Nether Void to avoid being isolated for too long. That burned in the X to try and regain control with his team. That was very smart decision making by him. Barcode, though, is the primary threat yet again. If he can take damage early on, that is the major source of range. DPS shut down, and he's trapped inside a crippling goo. He takes a ton of damage, so does the healer. Barcode's gone. Joltsy might be the trade though, but Barrier will save an excellent play from Iska to support him, and now BO4 has the Kachu, but that's all, and he goes down as well. There's time trouble. That's all that poor Crazy can pull out, and this should be at match point. Just like that, an instant win, and a very, very terrifying victory for Intolerant.
Well, that is definitely the power of that level of mobility. I did see that Seeb was pulling themselves a little bit further out of position than they should have, though. Like it seems like they had the right idea and then dropped it. But yes, the semis. I think there's a second map, right?
BO3, theoretically, yes. Should be BO3. So Shadow, does BO4 run a different lineup now?
As I recall. Oh, it is? Okay,
really?
So we don't see
so
BO4.
we're not going full BO3? Oh. That's okay. So it will be BO
it's not best
1 all the way through to the final, right? Yes. Okay. That's interesting.
Damn, because I would have liked to see BO4's Freya.
Well, I do have, actually, right into it, we're going to go to the other semi-final. Here you go, drop bar. If we can get our camera in here. This is Rambler 2 and 3 and Xanox versus Blame Dia and Bump Time in the lower bracket semi-final currently underway. So just so we can catch both of them, this is of course Team Nonsense versus Broken Comp Sorry. So Shadow, quick shift, new teams. How does this look to you?
My favorite to win is Broken Comp at this point. Like, I'm not that familiar, honestly, with Team Nonsense. They could surprise me. They are playing a very... Wow, they are playing the prototypical moving fortress style.
Guide me as I dem.
Rukon, Varesh, Paloma.
Yeah, that is a very, very powerful style. And it's very, very much meta. They're playing kind of textbook European Battlerite right there. That's kind of cool to see, but we're seeing it from both sides. This is going to be a very European matchup. And I expect this to go all the way in every single round, because we have the Fortress versus the Roving Fortress. Actually, two fortresses. I'll take it back. Both sides.
Yeah.
Both sides running one melee. We call this the Fortress match because you have the melee who's supposed to take the brunt of the damage in front, be the major threat against a rush, and then you have the Varesh who pairs very, very well with the Paloma for DPS, and the Paloma ensures survivability for both the players under that protection. Now, 2-1-3 is playing Rook, which allows a lot more... get lethal very quickly.
And as it is, it looks like, in fact, it's going to be 2-1-3 getting caught out here, who... I'm not surprised, actually, come to think of it, why aren't they playing Iva? Their Iva was wonderful last time we saw them, but no, instead, the Rook, there we go, there's the smack, there's Incapacitate to try to open stuff up so that we have a bit more room to get D1 to take some damage. But D1 managed to get out of there, everything gets back into a relatively safe position as 2-1-3.
Oh,
2-1-3! Goes to the other side to save the day!
Pump Time very low off the back of that, but Rambler's got his hands full. He needs to heal up through the ultimate, through the Shadow Beast coming out from Blame, and he's going to be trying to close the deal on 2-1-3, and he's doing an incredible job of it. However, 2-1-3 will be able to answer immediately back thanks to the healing coming through. Now he's got the advantage. Diaz's primary target, Blame. Damage from that Shadow Bolt will be dodged, and Rambler is still there to provide the healing, and this is kind of what I was talking about with the Fortress. Both sides are going to be here to the very bitter end if they can. It's just going to take mistakes. That's what happens to both melees, as they both get separated from their healers. Both overextend simultaneously. All in a 2v2. Just objectively, the HP advantage is heavily in favour of Broken Comp Story, and you can see why, as one player crumbles. Dia left all alone, won't have the HP or the mobility to avoid that amount of damage. He goes down as well. Broken Comp Story taking the first round, actually much quicker fashion than I'd expected.
Indeed. I feel like it was mostly Randler's work, though. I mean, 2-1-3 did a lot, took a lot of damage. I feel like near the middle of the match, they kind of got a little unsafe, but did manage to still live. But man, that was risky as heck.
It was the smack up top that really impressed me.
Yes. Oh yeah, that smack, that won the game. Like, that set up the position beautifully to put Broken Comp Sorry at a great positional advantage, and then they took it from there.
Well, now it's going to be interesting if 2-1-3 can make that work again, and so far the answer is no, because Dia and Blame are focusing on the damage and now forcing him to choose between his own HP and Randler's. Finally the separation comes through, and now actually look at Pump Time. He's been separated likewise the whole time, and Pump Time has not been having a very good time at all. Dia will be forced to use the reform after he's smacked into a wall, but there's a boulder toss going through, knowing he has no escapes. They will be able to secure Orb. They've run the Team Nonsense side, but they need a whole lot more than Orb. They need the DPS, and there's Shadow Beast coming through in an attempt to secure it, but the ultimate falls mostly on deaf ears as Blame takes a huge amount of damage in the immediate after of it. He crumbles almost instantly from the combined focused fire. Think of powers combined, Xanox will use his now with no ults. He will eat an ultimate, and that could be lethal damage if Dia can find the kill. He's not going to be able to do it as the smack the in-cap comes through, and the healing from Rambler is more than enough to keep him alive.
2 ultimates, actually, between Varesh and Paloma, but Randler trying to heal up the team, not able to do so much with the Ancestral Spirit. Still, it is a 3v2, and at this point we should see there's the orb. Position advantage is going well in favor of Broken Commissary. They just need to hold. As long as they can hold, they can chip it out. It's not going to be a big deal, especially now that there's a separation between Pomp Time and Dea. Dea's going to go down thanks to that pretty quickly. There's the ultimate to maybe finish them off. And not quite. Why didn't they ultimate? The counter doesn't block ultimates. That was weird.
No,
they had a free hit there.
That was no decision, but
yeah.
Regardless, it will work out. Just the HP advantage was too much. And as a result, it will be fairly clean up. And a 2-0 lead for Broken Commissary.
Very strong opening from them. It seems like they're finding their feet and they're showing what they can do. It just needs, as long as they maintain their strong positioning, that's the biggest thing. That's been their strength so far. They've been clever on their positioning. They've been making sure to keep themselves together as much as possible while keeping their opponents separated. Although the opening of that last game got a bit scary. I mean, Pomp Time was out of position. That was the biggest thing they had going for them. But 2-1-3 was the only one holding the center. And at this point, it looks like that's not quite happening this time. Broken Commissary is actually both teams keeping a strong position. And 2-1-3 being relatively careful, getting forced away, but still playing it carefully. As Dea gets way behind the back lines, that could easily lead to the death of this.
Yeah, Blame had to overextend to try and support what happened to Dea, and that could be lethal. There's the counter. Double aim cap comes through from the smack of 2-1-3. That's huge damage. You can see it on Dea, and he's suffered massively. Blames took a whole bunch of damage trying to save his teammate. Other side comes through to save Blame from that ultimate, but of course, because it's on one, it can't save the rest, and Dea and Pomp Time are both dangerously low. Blame needs to stay alive here, else his team's basically dead. Powers combined, the ultimate will be mostly wasted by Xanox now, but it does force out all the escapes, meaning that one kill's guaranteed. That's Pomp Time, the healer, gone. Blame, he'll be shredded over time, and poor Varesh of Dea will be slammed into a wall in high speed.
2-1-3 basically got all the kills that game. I mean, I said in the first round that they were being a bit careless, but I kind of take that back. I mean, the first round maybe, but now at this point, they found the balance they need of how careful they need to be, and it's clearly not actually that careful. They seem to be doing just fine with their over-aggression. It's working out beautifully.
He's got the great healer of Randler, who's always been one of the most impressive healers in the game. And Randler's doing his job, and that just means 2-1-3 doesn't have to worry about the healing so much. Go4Battlerite, well-sustaining character at the worst of times, but in this situation, really need to split up that combo, and to be fair to him, Dea's trying to, but maybe blocking the cell bolts with your body isn't the best idea. He takes a massive amount of damage. There's the counter berserk popped. Ultimate will be dropped, but other side will protect against it. Now Dia's the focus. He'll be stunned and hit by a boulder, and he's dropped incredibly low. He might go down. Other side's all that's keeping him alive. Blame's ultimate comes through. He might be silenced out of it. No, it will be dodged. Other side indeed protects against the vast majority of his damage, but it's still definitely there, and Randler is suffering. 2-1-3 tries to break it up. Pomp Time falls. Randler will be saved by 2-1-3's intervention. He's the hall monitor. He told the kids to break it up.
I mean, over the northeast though, Xanox getting rid of Pomp Time, no problem. And then after that, I mean, once the healer's gone, you don't have much else to work with. And we see exactly how that works. So 4-0 so far for Broken Commissary, and it seems like they're just getting stronger every game. They've understood what their opponents are doing, and while Dea was trying to split things up, I don't think that's the way they need to go. Like, you don't try to split up this kind of team. You take advantage of the position changes as they come and try to take advantage of small mistakes in your opponent's play. Like, whenever they're slightly out of position, especially when their frontline tank player is out of position, you take advantage of that more than anything. As 2-3 is right behind their line, this is a perfect opportunity, and at this point, we aren't seeing anything to try to break up the other players to stop Xanox and Randler from doing anything. And 2-1-3, on the other hand, has their smack doing exactly that.
Oh dear lord, poor Pomp Time. He's suffering hugely. He took massive damage there. Dea actually pulled in by a counter, doesn't have the support of Pomp Time, who's frantically trying to keep Blame alive. There's an ultimate on the point. Other side will be spent to save Blame from that ultimate, but Pomp Time now has no other side to protect himself. And there he goes, suffering for it as he goes down. blaming Dia yet again. Alone is their healer, yet again falls first, and Bobby Powers combined the ultimate from Varesh flying out, but Dia won't be able to get enough damage with it to really justify or give them a chance in the round, and just like that, it's looking like match, it's looking like our second semi-final is over, and Broken Compsori have just swept their way to the finals. They called in their Dyson vacuum cleaner, and clean their way to the grand finals with its full 133 degrees of movement on the head.
Well, they certainly know how to make sure their movement is intelligently done, because that was their big strength.
Dyson
there, was positioning.
Cleaners. This broadcast brought
sponsored
to you by Dyson.
For free, apparently.
You know what? I'm not gonna lie. Dyson vacuum cleaners are pretty good. And I'm not being paid to say that. I'm just a fan.
Oh. I've only ever had Kenmore's.
Yeah. Well, either way, that does clean up our semi-finals and ensure our finalists will be as follows. Intolerant coming through from the upper bracket, demolishing everyone in their path, most notably Project Horizon. And then from the lower half of the bracket, Team... No, not Team Nonsense. Broken Compsori coming through. Most notably, I guess, demolishing Let's Go as the most knowledgeable opponent on the other side. And now, in just a few moments, they're going to meet in the best of 3 grand finals for tonight's ESL Battlerite tournament. €150 on the line, and it's all going to be broadcast here live. My name, of course, has been TJ. Camera and production has been run by the wonderful Drop Bear, and I've been joined by Shadow Fury. This is a twitch.tv/Battlerite RIGHT production of the ESL tournaments. So, please do consider following the stream or any of our personal Twitter accounts, as you can see. The stream does broadcast a wide variety of different tournaments. We're going to be able to be broadcasting the French King or Kill tournaments over the upcoming weeks, and I definitely am looking forward to that. And it does sound like we have a couple other projects that we're going to be bringing more and more in. So don't be afraid to go ahead and follow this channel for all the Battlerite esports action. And don't go far during this upcoming break, because we're going to be right back after some smooth jazz with the grand finals of tonight's ESL Battlerite, sorry, ESL Go4Battlerite Cup number 19. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Unfortunately, we're going to have to interrupt the dank jazz and the smooth feels to bring you a slightly less smooth, but hopefully much more exciting Battlerite game with the grand finals of the first ever ESL 3v3 tournament. This is, of course, Go4Battlerite number 19. My name is still TJ Dropbar, still managing the camera and the stream, and Shadow has joined me here as the co-caster, as the co-broadcaster. How's your speaking words doing?
They're being spoken.
Good.
The words are coming out of my mouth. The vocal cords are forming sounds that people can understand and parse as language.
That's more than me sometimes. But if you had to parse some words about these two teams, make a prediction specifically, what would they be?
I don't know. I mean, seriously, Broken Comp versus Intolerant is not a matchup I'm going to easily call. I mean, Broken Comp has been showing a strong performance with 2 and 3 just playing everybody. They've gone from Iva to Rook to Bako now. And on the other side, Jolts Iskanai, we saw him last time, just come in and wrap themselves around a player and rip him to shreds. It's going to be tough to do that against Broken Comp because Broken Comp just does not want to get too far out of position, but at the same time, 2 and 3 is playing Bako, and Bako is nothing if not a forward character. Which actually is not... No, wait, never mind. What am I saying? Blood Axe. Blood Axe is a thing. They'll still go forward, though. That's still going to happen.
Nope. Yep,
2 and 3
definitely. 2 and 3.
That's
some aggression coming out from 2 and 3. Jonesy will try and trade evenly, though, and he is reining in the damage. Bulwark eats up a fair bit of it, but... There's the shield in turn. Zap coming in as well. Warstomp misses. Nice dashes from Jolt. See the secure orb, and that gives them a significant advantage over on the Intolerant side heading into the next significant team fight.
And at this point, the health's still fairly even as Xenox almost got out of position. Actually, too far out of position as Crippling Goo is punishing them hard for their mistakes. Holy crap, the amount of damage dealt there is almost death.
Joltsy just single-handedly body blocked Xenox into that, and now there's the ultimate machine gun tearing through Xenox from 9. Iska, though, does take a beating from 213, and that forces Joltsy to peel off other side. Will save 213 from that ultimate of Joltsy, and he will even be able to secure Orb, which drops Xenox back on the chopping block. He goes down, 213 now. Primary target, I assume, and there's the ultimate going through. Freight train lands, but the shield will protect against any significant damage. The ultimate scare off 213 as he will fall. Radler next, and that was very close for a few moments, but Intolerant ran what they wanted to, and 213 met a significant problem.
And Xenox also was barely alive for most of that match. Like, they got wrecked by the Crippling Goo, managed to ultimate their way out of it and use a shield, and just generally keep their position safe, but still, they made the one mistake. And just, that was it. They had double-digit health that entire time.
I don't even think Xenox especially made a mistake. I think
no, you're right.
Joltsy single-handedly body blocked him in there for like 10 minutes. It was like that awkward thing where you're in the hallway. You're in the hallway, and the guy comes the other way, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna go this way, and he goes that way too, and then you have to like dance back and forth, and it takes a really long time.
Yeah, and you're standing in acid for 5 minutes, and you lose your shoes. Yeah, I've been there.
Haven't done that. You know who has though? Xenox.
Yeah.
Xenox
doesn't even have shoes.
No, not anymore. He was,
well, no, but
you know,
like, everything below the waist is a gas.
Actually, fair enough. There's the ultimate. Speaking of gas, Xenox will drop out a fair bit of damage, and actually, Iska's being dropped incredibly low by 213. There's the ultimate available. That could be a kill. Should he be inspired to use it? He has 2 targets there, but the ultimate will snag one. Barrier available to heal from some of the damage. Nye also very low. 213 is not letting up. This is the Baco he wants to play. And this is exactly why. Look at the low HP on Iska. Look at the low HP on Nye. This is nigh on unwinnable for Intolerant.
Oh, but the dodge coming in from Xenox is... being Intolerant safe, but their HP, like 15% HP, 26 now thanks to the Orb. 26 to 72 though. Pretty much has to be perfect play the entire game coming out of Intolerant to get back in this match.
Joltsy has ultimate available, and presumably will be looking for the opportunity to drop it. Oh, but the low HP on his healer's got to be worrying if he does have the EX barrier. He will instead opt to try and get some life leech through, but it doesn't matter. There's the ultimate coming through. Double kill out of 213, almost a triple kill. This man's playing Quake because he's going for the kill streak.
You say that, and yet I'm not going to bother.
No.
Unreal Tournament is the one with kill streaks, not Quake, but
you're right. Fair enough. We were playing Reflex, and I was watching some Quake. It's just it was always in my head. You know?
Yeah. Fair enough.
Well, that was a very cool round from 213.
213 has shown very strong play with, like I said, several characters. It does feel like their Baco is their strongest so far. The Rook they were playing last game, I wasn't so sure about how they were doing stuff, but this Baco, that shows like what they can do to hold the line, especially with Bulwark, just to keep themselves from taking the damage. Xenox, on the other hand, they're operating as the right now, and it's not working out because they're Varish, and Varish does not work that way, which led to death. As 213 got a bit distracted trying to get rid of Iska.
And Iska?
That did not work properly.
Iska just stood in the side of an ultimate, but thanks to the shielding potential, literally every member of his team could shield him. So he took no damage from that Ancestral Spirit. It's the ultimate for what it's worth coming out from 213, but what is it worth really? The odds of him getting anything are very low, and I think you hit the nail on the head there. 213 chased a kill, tried to secure an early pick. That aggression that worked so well last round separated him from his team. He wasn't there to be kind of that removal force, and his team just died before he could do anything.
Well, like I said, Broken Comp's strength is positioning, and they sacrificed that strength in that match, trying to get the early kill, but unfortunately it was not a worthy gambit. So next game I imagine they'll be far more conservative with their positioning, and 2 and 3 will probably hold back, or at least not chase way into the back lines like they did this game, or this last round.
Well, I certainly hope to see more of round 2, 2 and 3, because that was way more fun to watch. But he needs to worry about that damage coming through from Joltsy. There's a nice stun. Speaking of that damage, other side will be forced out as it's needed to save Xenox. Bulwark reflects a fair bit of damage back at Joltsy, but now that it's faded, it's the washout that's providing all the healing. Orb will be stolen very nicely by 213. Indeed, Joltsy will be separated from his team with the Panic Blast coming out, followed by the root from the Arcane Shackles. He's doing a number on 213, forcing him to be separated from his team, and yet again, Xenox is taking a fair bit of damage. He will pop his ult in response. There's 1, 2, almost 3 hits. He uses the third to try and get away, but now he has no way out of this. He can be Clarity Potion back into the crippling goo. The machine gun tears through him. He's forced to pop his counter as a means of escape. 2 and 3 in the meantime has been dropped so incredibly low that Xenox cannot get any aid from him. The ultimate comes through to try and break up the focus on the Randler, but it's not nearly in time. Randler is now dead as well.
That was a conservative play. That's what I expected that we'd see Broken Comp do. It's just that they end up still getting torn away just enough. Xenox still got hit. 2 and 3 desperately tried to save their teammate, but that entire time, the entirety of Intolerant went, you know what? Xenox is our target. We got to take Xenox out. Just ignore 2 and 3. We'll deal with him later. If we can get rid of Xenox, we'll win.
It's worth noting, 2 and 3 lost his 1v1 versus Joltsy. He didn't get the open. Yeah,
that's true. He didn't deal any damage. The reflect was nice, but it didn't actually hit.
Well, now we see kind of the same symptoms. There's the tone drop from Joltsy to be able to pump out significant portions of damage. Nice chiming in as well. Xenox in the backlines, meanwhile, is losing his fight versus Iska. Nice war stop from 2 and 3 has the potential to turn around, but only if Xenox doesn't melt here, which he very well might, because now he's in the backline. Now he's Clarity Potion down. Other side's all that saved him, but that's not nearly long enough to allow him to get out. The Arcane Shackles there. He's chained in. Ancestral Spirit won't save him. He dies inside of the ultimate. He's gone just like that. And poor Rattler just got ulted as well. He's down to no HP. This is a slaughter now.
Oh, Randler, I believe in you. I still believe in you, but I believed in you. I'm believing in you slightly less strongly as a result of that last match. Please prove me wrong. Although on the other hand, holy crap, Intolerant. Nicely done. I mean, we're just seeing all of them making sure that none of them die. Shields being popped in a way that doesn't really allow a lot of gaps. Maybe a few seconds here or there where there's opportunities to deal damage without hitting shields, but so much damage is being absorbed into shields by Intolerant that's like, despite all the damage that 2 and 3 and Xanax are dealing, we don't see the effect as a result.
Well, you can see a little bit of a change around this round as Joltsy takes a fair bit of damage right off the bat, but now there's the tone popped again, there's the ugly amounts of damage popped again, and there's the Arcane Shackle right into the crippling goo. Ultimate's gonna be popped, but not before Rattler takes massive damage. Xenox in a similar boat. Warshout is all that's giving anyone any HP over on that side. Joltsy is criminally low, but he has the barrier potential of his team to keep him alive, and there's the flamethrower coming through from 9 in the meantime to put Xenox incredibly low. Rattler will get chipped down before 213 can intervene, and oh dear lord, this is starting to look ugly.
Yeah, we're going to be going to map 2 with 1 round, most likely. Oh, I don't know, the ultimate might actually do the trick, but no, so close to getting a double kill on the ultimate. Iska probably would have still had enough advantage to be able to stay out of there. That is still a Lucy. 1v1ing a Lucy is one of the hardest things to do in this game is against a good Lucy. But now we're on to map 2. 1-0 currently for Intolerant.
And the shielding potential, I touched on it a bit there, but the shielding potential from that lineup is insane. People can ult, and the second the ult starts going towards a player, you have the shield from Esmo, you have the shield from Lucy, and you have the shield from Iva. And they can all apply onto the same person, and they can all stack, and they can eat an entire ultimate with no problem.
Yeah, that's the thing. That composition is wonderful for staying alive, which is surprising considering that they are also a highly aggressive composition. But really, that just works beautifully together because the aggression happens, and then if the aggression starts to run into problems, the person being aggressive just takes no damage because they have 90 health worth of shields on top of them.
I'm just blown away by that. That was a ugly amount of burst damage, and you can see actually in the lobby which we're in, the readies have come through instantly. These players are ready to go. We're just waiting on a few final bits, and we're all the way in now. What changes come through? Do any changes come through?
2-1-3 might go Iva. Or
yeah,
Rook
2-1-3 is the character that can swap through. Right, 2-1-3 is the guy who runs a wide variety of different melee players, and I would expect him to be the player to swap. Rattler also could swap healers, but frankly that wouldn't make much sense if they want to run Varesh Paloma. So,
yeah,
I would expect 2-1-3 to be the player to change. Do you have a prediction for how he changes and how that affects things?
I kind of think Iva would be the safer option, just to keep things in a way that they can keep it, that the Broken Comp team can stay together. Because that was the bigger problem coming up last game. Like I said before, if Intolerant catches anybody out of position, they're great at diving onto them, collapsing onto them, and killing them. And Rook, with all the rushes and everything, would easily get himself out of position. Granted, last game with Broken Comp, we did see that they were able to work around the team nonsense, or sorry, not team nonsense, but as Let's Go. They were able to work around some of that strategy and able to incorporate proper spacing with the Rook play. I just feel like Iva would be an easier choice for that kind of style.
Yeah, well, we'll find out. The readies are coming through. The characters are about to be locked in. And hopefully we can get right into the action in a few moments as we are just waiting on the last few players to get in. And it should be a very interesting final. Of course, this will be map 2 of the best of 3 grand final here in ESL Battlerite Europe number 19. The first 3v3 tournament in ESL Battlerite, so that's very exciting. But there's also been a slight change to how the prize pools distribute. If you don't know the prize pool, it is 150 euros to first place. That's it. So whoever wins this gets 150 euros. That's 50 euros apiece. Whoever loses this doesn't. So there's a fair bit on the line.
Winner takes all.
Yeah, this is some Fight Club stuff.
I actually haven't seen the movie.
It's not a particularly good reference. It actually doesn't mean much.
To be a pleasant one.
Yeah, I was thinking what I do know about that movie is like, so these teams are going to be engaging in domestic terrorism in the name of masculinity? Because that's all I know about the movie.
That's a strangely. I don't think that's the same movie. But hey,
with Project Mayhem and all that.
I'm just, you know what? You're right. Twitch chat's right. First rule of Fight Club: we don't talk about Fight Club. So let's get right into the action. It's Battlerite. It's a different kind of Fight Club. We're allowed to talk to it. Indeed, it will be Xanox leading up the action. 2-1-3 swapping to Rook. That's the only change in the two comps. You can see the effect of this. He's already close to the distance. He tries to deal with Joltsy's extreme damage, but the trading's been even so far.
This map is easier for that, though, because of the closer setup. It's a lot easier for 2-1-3 to actually get in and deal damage, as opposed to in Blackstone Arena Night, where it was just, Blackstone Arena Day, where it was way too much room that you could fall into a corner.
Look at Joltsy, actually. Joltsy and Nye both taking significant damage, and Xanox will be able to secure the first kill. Joltsy, next theoretically, as Xanox is having much more effect this map. All the credit to him. He's turned it around. There's an ultimate from Esmo flying out. It will catch 2-1-3, but the damage is trivial compared to the complete obliteration that Nuke applied to Intolerant. And Broken Comp, sorry, they're on the board and they're back in the game.
I think this is the second round they've won so far, but that was convincing. They definitely had the position advantage they needed. They knew how to stick together enough. 2-on-3 did not overextend for playing Rook. I mean, I wasn't sure if that was going to work out, but so far, they've shown it can.
I'm actually, you know, I saw that and I went, that's an interesting decision from 2-1-3. I'm not sure it will work well versus the opposing team comp. Conventional wisdom is that it won't. 2-1-3, on the other hand, strongly disagrees, and he's about to teach us all why. There's the smash to dodge that. Chaos Grip, credit to him, worked out very well. Xenox will hang back for a while and rain out the damage, and actually, what 2-1-3 is doing very well right now is he's Xenox is doing a much better job of being a constant presence because 2-1-3 commands so much attention. There's Rambler with the Ancestral Spirit to try and provide a healing place for them, but the Crippling Goo comes through immediately after. It's going to be mostly useless for them, but there's the second ultimate. There's the Esmo ultimate, and there's damage across the board onto two different players. Orb is picked up by 2-1-3 with Xenox and him. Both took significant damage from that ulti. Neither of them can be too happy. Xenox especially not as he's trapped in a 1-on-3. There's an ultimate tearing through him, and 2-1-3 decides he likes machine gun bullets and dives right into them.
I guess we don't need to ask them their opinion on the taste of lead. They've made that very clear. That was 2-1-3 could have easily survived that. Given how far out of position Nye was popping the ultimate, there was no reason for anyone to die to that. They could have got behind a wall, no problem. At this point, the 2v3 is going to be... Okay, Xanox getting out of there, but it's still going to be a very difficult spot for both Xanox and Randler. Randler doing a wonderful job keeping Xanox alive, but at this point, Schultz is just throwing all the damage in. Actually, the book's done, though. The tome is done, but there comes the pseudo flamethrower. And even then, we still see Xanox is not dying. Randler's taking a bit of damage here and there. Xanox still maintaining enough of a life advantage against death, but not enough for the deadly inject to not kill. And that finishes it off. As, well, Broken Comp had it, and then lost it, because 2-3 went against Machine Gun.
Turning points.
Like, into Machine Gun I go!
I mean, that was like some Charge of the Light Brigade stuff going on there.
And about as successful, too.
I think, you know what I think it was? I think his theory was that Xanox was going to be there. The focus for the machine gun was going to be on Xanox. He was going to roll through, land the stone, save Xanox. Everything was going to be great. Problem was, Xanox reformed away, and the machine gun bullets all went his way.
Because, like I said, it was behind a wall, and I could have easily just not been hit. Or not hit anything at all. It could have been very easy to avoid. And Xanox, again, talking about easy to avoid, Xanox getting way out of position, and thankfully for them, managing to get to the back line. Schultz trying to get around them, but not able to do so. 2-3.
Schultz is still like keeping train on HP though. And actually, Xanox pops the counter perfectly to close distance. If the rush comes through from 2-3 now that the outs have been used by Jolty and the Arcane Barrier, it will be a very interesting move indeed. Nye will be there on the front lines with the track beam to eat up the rush, and indeed the shackles come through immediately after, pinning 2-3 to the ground. And he's going to take a fair bit of damage, drop down equal HP as Xanox, and it's definitely not ideal for the frontline character having the end cap in the back line. This could be an overextension as he dives deep to try and get a stun on Iska. He succeeds, but at what cost? Because now there's an ultimate tearing through. The vulnerability won't last forever, and 2-1-3's been dropped so low.
But they can get the orb, and they can't, unfortunately for them. Intolerant takes the orb, the one thing they had left, and the counter gets popped again, yet at the same time, 2-3 is way too far away to do anything. Thankfully for them, Iska's ultimate, unable to do anything, as is Jolt's. Two ultimates completely wasted. This could turn things around. Nye, are you gonna die?
Xanox just got completely shut down when he tried his ultimate. It went completely wide. Now the smack only gets one, and could be disaster for 2-3. However, they are focusing on Xanox, which might still be disaster, but it's going to be a longer term one because 2-3 doesn't go down, and the healing from Randler somehow manages to keep Xanox alive. Now, the problem becomes, how do you overcome this? Because Xanox has just countered deep into the back lines, and the heals haven't landed. Now, Phantasm isn't attached either, but the ultimate goes out deep and aggressive. Nye might go down due to his low HP. Orb will be snagged despite his smooth Chaos Grip. There's the ultimate powers combined from Xanox, managing to get one bit of damage. Not enough to secure any kills. There's a counter backline again, but Chaos Grip lands. The other side will protect from the punish. Yet again, this is an interesting situation now because the HP pools have basically been evened up. but it's so hard to get anything done when you don't have center control, and Orb was stolen. There you go, there's the equalizer needed now. Intolerant can absolutely win this, particularly as they drive 2-1-3 out of the arena. Other side will save him, but for how long? Because he's gone again. The heals come through. Rattler tries to buy him time, but his inch is too late, and now Xanox is his only hope as the kills have been traded evenly so far. Joltsy might go down, he's so very low, but the heals are there. Now the crippling goo on point won't be enough to secure Orb, but it leaves Rattler all alone, and he needs to do something incredible.
It is a Paloma at sudden death in the middle, but unfortunately not able to get the Spirit Rift or Soul Drain out of there to push away their opponents. Losing the round. That's so close. It's the tough thing about Lucy versus Paloma at the very end, is that Lucy has the crippling goo, Paloma has Soul Drain. Paloma can do it more often because they require less meter, but the position, it just makes it an advantage for crippling goo first. And especially given it's a 2v1 situation, that was doable but extremely difficult for Randler.
Intolerant had no center control the entire round.
No, it was like 5 orbs to 2. I'm kind of surprised they got those 2, given the way the game was going. I mean, at this point, I think... Oh, you got some?
They did build up a massive HP pool advantage in the first few engagements, but then just lost it over time to 2-1-3 and Xanox. That was a bit of a silly mistake, in my opinion.
But the problem is that there was a health advantage for Broken Comp, and most of it was in Randler.
Well,
so Randler wasn't going to tank anything.
Look at Xanox, yet again. Target presumably taking decent burst damage, and they need to start protecting him. They need to start worrying about Xanox, because as soon as his reform's used here, his only escape is his counter, and that's hardly an escape at all. We've seen that several times get in trouble.
Yeah, that's an easy way to get put in the back line, and Xanox getting... not actually managing to do anything with the counter, even though it does get procced. But at the same time, does manage to at least stay out of the way of the crippling goo. And there's a smack to get Jolts out. I'm sorry, get Iska out of the fight. Jolts, however, is also not able to do a huge amount of damage. They're actually...
Oh, Xanox, don't do that.
Real focus.
Nice dive into the backline, actually. He used the counter, but he was able to play off of it. The reform as well helped him out. Now 2-1-3 needs to make something happen. He can't land the stun on Jolts. He's able to dodge out of both his strike and the Ancestral Spirit. The Berserk being procced, though, does guarantee Orb. Ultimate powers combined flies through at the same time as 2-1-3's Ode ulti, and that allows a ton of damage to fly through. Iska is so very low, but the Tractor Beam from 9 manages to save him by pulling 2-1-3 just out of range. That was incredible mechanical playing, quick thinking from 9. The stun comes through for a second time now, but now Jolts is in for the punish on the overextension from 2-1-3. It will be an Ancestral Spirit, though, to drop Joltsy very low. He's going to be slapped into a wall by the big meaty man. Poor 2-1-3 is, or Nikita. I suppose I should be referring to him. And it will be Xanox to clean up 2-1-3 on the last. And now we're back tied up 2-2 in the second map.
I don't know if you noticed, though, that Ancestral Spirit was Ancestral Spirit into Spirit Rift to keep Jolts panicked so that they couldn't do much until the very last second when it was too late. So that was nicely done. I love seeing proper use of Spirit Rift. That is to me Paloma's strongest asset, is that AoE panic.
I'm just in awe right now of what 2-1-3 is doing on Rook.
Yeah, they're somehow managing to play both aggressive and safe at the same time. It's just that proper balance between having the aggression and keeping yourself with your team. And we see it again, although they got pushed back in that case, but still, they are managing to stay near their team while putting pressure on the opposing team. Xanox, however, is the one getting out of position, which is unwise, but at the same time, at this point, Broken Comp's got center, and they're quite happy to stick with that.
Decent damage coming through onto 2-1-3, but the healing from Randler is impressive this whole time. Xanox into the back line with that counter and the reform, actually. What was that reform? It leaves him still in the centre of the threat, and they're taking huge advantage of that. Other side's forced out. Rattler inside of the crippling goose. So 2-1-3. This could be disastrous because the Chaos Grip pulls them right back in. And that's massive damage. Powers combined comes through though for a decent amount of equalising HP damage onto both Nye and Iska, who's now the victim of the meat bolts flying from 2-1-3. The rush will follow through. Iska could go down here. If he does, that's disastrous. He goes down indeed. 2-1-3 isolates the kill, and Jolty and Nye are too busy chasing the kill on Xanox and Rattler in the meantime to stop it. And that could be the round. In fact, it looks like it very well will be.
That's a position play. I mean, I'm surprised Iska got stuck out of position as much as they were. There wasn't any rolls back to center or anything to regroup with their team. They just got caught out, and that was pretty much the game as it went, because Iska gets caught out, and then after that point, what can you do? You have no healer against a team that's constantly pressuring you. And I guess you have Nye being more or less a tank in a sense, but that's the best he got.
Well, the heals have just been forced out of Iska to protect Jolty from the initial salvo from Xanox, but Xanox is quite happily actually taking this 1v1. This is an interesting decision from him. He's gone ahead and he's sticking with it, and if he wins it, it would be huge, and so far indeed he is. Jolty taking significant damage from the panic bolt comes in though as the rest of the team chimes through. Look at how aggressive 2-1-3 and co are willing to take this. Broken Comp are saying, if you want to retreat into your spawn, we'll follow you. That will be the ultimate from Xanox, spent to avoid one crippling goo. 2-1-3 gets 2 bursts out of his own ultimate before he's shut down. I'm going to go and retreat back, guarantee, or that will give them the EX and HP advantage necessary to go and drop that Ancestral Spirit for a little bit of healing as they continue to press their advantage. And Iska and Jolty, Nye, they're not looking good on HP. But Xanox
aren't too bad though. I mean, Xanox is very low. The thing is, once again, as with last time, Xanox has super low HP, and while there isn't HP advantage to Broken Comp Icon, sorry, they could very easily get into a 2v3 situation if Xanox is careless just a little bit too much. While, on the other hand, Intolerant, yeah, they have HP disadvantage, but it's evenly spread.
There's the machine gun coming through. Stun will be used, but 2-1-3 has no HP. As much as that rhymes, it's not nearly as jolly as it sounds. He will have his ultimate now, and I'd strongly suggest he pops it as soon as he thinks he can get damage off the back of it, because that crippling goo's not going to be tasty. And indeed, it isn't. It's like Jello, but not tasty at all. There's the ultimate coming through. One hit off of it. It does devastating damage, but he can be cancelled out and almost slain at the end of it. Other side's forced out of Rattler to save him, and that doesn't stop him at all. He continues to go in. In the meantime, Chaos Grip lands on Xanox as well, forcing Rattler to shoot between his children. He somehow manages to keep them both alive, but for how long? Because they're yet again separated, and they're yet again both taking massive damage. Stunlock comes through, but the ultimate lands. There's one other side to save 2-1-3 from dying, but it costs Rattler his HP. Nye on the other side is definitely taking massive damage, but all these players' HP is so very low. All it takes is the burst damage, which is present on both sides to guarantee a kill here. There's Orb, and it will be snatched up by 2-1-3, and now look at the tiny HP across the board. Jolty, Iska, Nye, any of them could fall at a moment, and especially Nye. There's the meat bolt.
There's the meat bolt. I was thinking it would just come down to a small sudden death advantage play, but it isn't. Although there are still a few plays. The ult is coming in the Ancestral Spirit into the crippling goo, but the Ancestral Spirit wins the match completely, actually. Wins the actual round. Not just that one small duel. Although 2-1-3 had to sacrifice themselves to the crippling goo in order to finish that, so bit of a sad little event there. Wait, was that just me, or did Rook dissolve on the winner screen before reappearing?
He wasn't having a good day, right?
No, getting dissolved in acid is rarely a good day.
But now, Broken Comp are just one round away from tying up the series and taking us to a map 3. I can't imagine they'd be too opposed to that idea, as indeed 2-1-3 looks to secure it with some aggressive play. Xanox diving in as well, will reform away. No, he reforms aggressively. He's staying in the action, and it might work out, because look at the HP on Nye. It's just crumbled. Jolty's next. 2-1-3 occupying 2 players, while Rattler somehow juggles the healing on both him and Xanox, and that's going to be Orb picked up again by 2-1-3 as he maintains that perfect center control record.
My goodness, I am seeing Broken Comp here playing the way Intolerant normally plays, and Intolerant just not sure what to do. I mean, really, look at the aggressive dive play. That is not something that Broke
overextended though. Because that crippling goo coming through forces Randler to pick, and he picks Xanox to save. That costs 2 and 3. There's the ultimate though. It flies out. There's 1 kill guaranteed. Iska separated massively from Joltsy, who will be able to secure orb, yes, but they're separated and down the player. It looks like we're going to map 3 or something absolutely incredible.
Joltsy had to burn so much of their meter on a shield. There's no way they're going to throw out their little book for the ultimate, which isn't going to be relevant for a little while. I mean, it's still kind of relevant, but they don't have it. And Iska's so close to Crippling Goo, which we know they're going to throw out as soon as they get the chance. There's the Crippling Goo available. When are we going to see it, though? There it is. And no Chaos Grip to try to hold, but Xanox is still stuck inside there. But thanks to shields on the other side, takes no damage. While at the same time, 2 and 3 rushing forward to finish off Iska. And Iska, oh man, are you going to even survive this? I do not have much faith. One can hope, but unfortunately, no.
Joltsy, all alone now in a dark, dark world. Has he accepted his fate? Yes, he has, and the meat flies out. He just gets
to the back of the head.
He just gets smacked with Nikki's meat. And just like that, we're powering our way to a map 3 in the grand finals. 150 euros on the line. And we're going to the very final map of ESL Go4Battlerite number 19.
Now, the question would be then, are we going to see a composition change coming out of either team? Or specifically, are we going to see it coming out of Intolerant? Because I don't think Intolerant's going to go for that. I feel like Intolerant, they have their composition.
I think we know what comps we're sticking with on both sides.
Yeah. I think it's going to come down to map then. Like, first map, the Orman Temple worked beautifully, though part of it helped that 2 and 3 was playing Bako, and Bako was having a harder time there. But this second match here, Mount Day proved to be definitely helpful for Rook. I mean, Rook didn't have to go out of position. They just had to attack and be at the edge of the center circle, and they could still maintain a highly aggressive presence. That's all they needed.
I want to see a rematch. That's it. I want to see a rematch, and I want to see Joltsy play the character that he loves, and I want to see them just change their play style and take it right back to them. And especially, we're going to Blackstone, which is like the perfect map for this matchup, at least in my opinion. And they are not waiting around. They are ready to go. We're just waiting on one player left. Everyone else is instantly readied up, because this is a really hype match. And if they stick with that pick, thank God.
No, they're not going to stick with that pick. Randall's not going to go for
there.
No.
That would have been like top 10 anime betrayals by Watch Mojo levels of hype.
Randall's not going to go for Rygon. They're going to go for Paloma. They picked Rygon when we saw it, but yeah, it was.
I mean, the reason why that made me freak out a little bit when I saw Randler hovering over Rygon is because he's played that in tournaments before. You
think they're going to play a triple DPS setup in the
No, I don't, but it definitely made me go, holy God, this could be mind-blowing. We didn't go down
I save my excitement for after the lock-in happens.
I
locked that in, holy crap.
Well, they didn't. Instead, we're going to a fairly standard roster on both sides, exactly the same as the last map. 2 and 3 doing exactly the same thing he did the last map as well. He's picking up right where he left off, and that's some serious bashing and meat slapping, flying through, double stun lands, double in cap. Could have followed through off the smack. At the very least, he guaranteed some knockback, and he guaranteed Joltsy's isolation, which is definitely costing him as he takes a ton of damage. Now the focus shifts though. It's Nye as the primary target, or Xanox. Double ulti coming through. It will be 1, 2, 3 hits right off the back of Xanox's ulti, and just like that, it should be Iska falling. He goes down. That was an incredible Varesh ultimate.
Yeah, that Varesh ultimate finally managing to get all 3 hits in. I don't think we've seen that happen yet this match. But we did see it here in Jolts throwing out the ultimate, their last action, and it has no effect thanks to the other side. And Nye finally going down to just getting smacked into the wall to a rush. I mean, that was a dominating presence by Mycons. It's not going to be easy to get back from this. I could see Intolerant, if they were to play the slightly more aggressive style they were playing before, maybe having a shot, but I feel like Broken Comp just knows, don't be too forward. If you're forward, then you'll get taken out. But it seems like Intolerance just a little bit too timid about actually going for those approaches when they can.
Oh, Xenox deep into the back lines again, Panic. Lands onto 2-1-3. That could have been an opportunity to punish Xenox, but 2-1-3 returned to the action close enough, and Xenox actually did an excellent job of leaving himself with Joltsy with the flank now. He's been able to isolate Randler, and that could be a significant opening. Nye will not be able to secure Orb. Xenox actually doing that. There's the ultimate. 1, 2, 3 solid hits coming through onto Nye. It's definitely not his ideal day at the park, and 2-3 will even be able to fall back and regain his own HP. Chaos Grip does land onto Randler. That could have been a huge punish.
That's still a good move, though. I mean, the amount of damage that was dealt, and Randler is at lowest. They're at the lowest HP from their team. That hasn't happened so far. But at the same time, Jolts is almost dead. They're going to throw out their ultimate as soon as their team gets, as soon as Broken Comp gets close enough. There it is.
Oh,
there's the hit. Ooh. Thankfully,
Xenox, though, guarantees the kill onto Iska. Nye tries to answer back, and he won't be able to shut it down because Xenox pops his counter at just the right time and guarantees the kill with the aid of 2-1-3, and there it is. Rolling all the way through. Broken Comp, sorry. Now 2-0.
That was risky, though. I mean, Randler, I think, might be learning that they can afford to take a bit of damage and still be okay, and at that point, their teammates survive a bit better. But that Chaos Grip was not something they wanted to have happen. Even then, though, they were at pretty low HP when they got hit by that.
What do you do if you're Joltsy right now? I liked what he was doing when he dove backline and he pressured Randler. That seemed to focus much of their attention back towards him for a few moments, perhaps by time for Nye to make a play. That looked good.
I don't know if Joltsy needs to do anything different, though. I think it is a matter of the rest of the team. Like, Iska just needs to make sure they don't get caught out by Rook, and Nye needs to make sure that if that does happen, that Iska's got an extra shield by their back.
Well, Joltsy's doing a good job this round of pressuring the back lines. However, 2-1-3's noticed him. Perhaps he's done too good a job, but actually decent damage across the board. Iska, though, is taking a fair bit himself. There's the focus on Randler. There's Randler taking huge damage, but he will pop his ultimate naturally. Depending on how this turns out, it could be lethal for Joltsy, but no, the tractor beam comes through from Nye instead. It's not enough to save Iska, though, who crumbles to 2-1-3 in the chaos. And speaking of chaos, there's a completely wasted ultimate out of Joltsy, but he's got another one! And he will get decent damage on Randler. The ultimate from 2-1-3 will not be able to secure any kills, but it drops Joltsy decently low, and Nye, of course, has no HP. He falls when a boulder drops on his head, and there it is. The third round now picked up for Broken Comp, sorry.
Yeah, tractor beams do not protect against boulders. That's an AoE splash ranged attack, so it does bypass counters.
Not much protects against boulders landing on your head.
No. I mean, a hard umbrella might. Like a really, really, really hard umbrella. Might break your arm in the process, though.
I'm gonna
nice
let you manufacture and test that umbrella. Yeah, no, Joltsy's been doing a really good job the last few rounds of focusing down Randler and definitely has caused a shift in focus, but the separation coming through from this guy is what worries me in this round, because watch, as he's definitely very separated from his team. Now he's managed to group up again with Nye and Joltsy, and it's going much better for him. And you can see that he's hovering at a nice distance now, and the opposite's happening. Randler's the healer getting called out. Randler's the healer under threat, and he's not able to support Xenox as a result. Xenox being pulled through in the tractor beam will be in a very ugly spot. Randler gets hooked in by a snap from the Chaos Grip. There's the flamethrower burning that poor wizard alive, and just like that, 2-1-3 has an ultimate, but it'll be his last hurrah. And there's now Intolerant back on the board off the back of some great play from that Joltsy and Iska doing a much better job that round, I believe, of staying relevant, staying alive, and providing great healing.
Yeah, those pulls in Randler, we saw that was the focus. I mean, Iska, it was a bit risky, but Iska never really took much damage when he got down to it. They were still safe, and there was enough that Nye was doing to keep them safe, and 2-3 was focusing on Nye. Even when tractor beams were happening, there was enough that Joltsy could do their job. And again, we see it once again there, same strategy as before. Randler taking all the damage, Nye focusing on them as well. Oh, but the double incapacitating a boulder toss. That's going to split up the team. Actually, not split up the team. It's that trying to avoid that happening again is going to split up the team, but still good enough as Jolts gets pretty hard focused. That's Jolts getting in the back line is not doing the job they need to have been doing, that they were doing last round, and they're no longer doing.
Iska's not having a good time. He's dropped down to decent HP as well. Randler looking for the damage actually very aggressively, and that might have been a mistake because he's now taken about half HP. Joltsy weaving back and forth, trying to commit like we just talked about, but he's stunned inside a crippling goo. It's only the shield that gets him out because there's the ultimate flying through from 2-1-3, and that guarantees one kill onto Iska. The machine gun flies through as well, but only does decent damage onto Xanox and can't confirm the kill. The ultimate coming out from a now dead Joltsy will do damage to Randler, but that's all as the kills are picked up, and now Broken Comp Surrey are one round away from walking away as grand champions of the ESL event, and of course with €150.
This is really tough. I almost feel like they should split around where Nye is trying to go after Randler and then Jolts tries to protect Iska. Because I know it sounds weird, but Chaos Script does a better job with everything that all the status effects it applies does a better job of keeping their teammates safe than Nye's Tractor Beam. And Nye can then deal the damage onto Randler in the process, but it looks like that's not what's happening. Jolts instead is going for Randler, and Nye is trying to protect this guy. And this time, 2-3 does seem to be focusing kind of on everybody, not really maintaining consistent focus as they have before.
Well, there's the crippling goo out, and that'll actually force a decent amount of damage through onto 2-1-3 because Randler had to use the other side for himself. The machine gun that comes through immediately after, knowing the other side is down, will guarantee a kill onto 2-1-3, who's kind of caught in a no man's land of ultimates. And speaking of ultimates, there's one more. Other side forced out from Randler, allowing a focus to now come through, knowing he has no escapes, no hope of saving his teammate, who's just going to be panicked out at the top of the arena, and of course swallowed. Really good.
Yeah, they showed off what they know how to do. I mean, I made a big set of suggestions last game, but it didn't really matter. The important thing was that 2-3 was getting distracted by 9. I made sure to keep Iska safe, peeled for Iska properly, as did Jolts, so Iska wasn't getting the pressure. And as long as Iska doesn't get pressured, then Intolerant can apply their own pressure back. At this point, though, Iska is getting pressured hard, as Jolts does still successfully distract for at least a little while.
Joltsy will lean around the corner as well and do significant damage onto Randler. Iska on the other side of the map taking huge damage as well. There's the ultimate flying through. Xanox trying to confirm the kill, but he might have overextended because Nye's chasing him with the flamethrower, and he burns away the witch, guaranteeing one kill. 2-1-3 also being tractor beamed by Nye to mess with his rush, and that saves Iska. Fight another day, the invulnerability of the Berserk might end that, but Randler's so very low that all it would take is 1 or 2 significant blows, and just like that they go through, and now Intolerant are looking good for another round.
They're looking good for a reverse sweep at this rate. Sheesh. I mean, the amount of turnaround they've had, they have the momentum now. And Broken Comp's got to think about what they need to do here, because I feel like they are overextending. They're trying to go for that kill. They're on match point, and I think they know it, and they might be getting a little bit too excited about trying to win it out early. And that's exactly what Intolerant wants, because Intolerant loves to collapse around a team that's out of position.
This is exactly what I'd hoped the ESL 3 series would turn into. This is so cool to just get a weekly check-in with the experimentation, the exciting things that are happening in the ESL 3 scene. I cannot wait for next week, but we still have this week to go, and it still could be decided 1 to 2 rounds either way. And Intolerant are looking increasingly good. Look at the low HP on Randler, and 2-3 being read like a book by Joltsy. There's the shackles coming through, guaranteeing the 2-3 can't be supported by Randler for a few more moments as Nye actually dodges significant punish from Xanox very deftly. There's the ultimate coming through though, and the Ancestral Spirit, the second tick of it, will guarantee damage onto Nye. On the other side though, 2-3's eating a fair bit himself. Indeed, Randler's eating 2 ultimates at once. He goes down for the machine gun crippling goo combo. Now 2-1-3 and Xanox are the only hopes for their team, as it does look like we're going to be tied up on tournament point failing something absolutely incredible from 213. There's the ultimate coming through. Deadly Injection, though, has already guaranteed the kill onto Paresh, and this leaves 213 to stop the opposing team from guaranteeing tournament point, and he cannot do it. It's 4-4 in the final map of the best of 3 grand final.
Like water and oil, we just don't
Well,
mix.
I thought that Brokencom had that. The Ancestral Spirit was quite nicely placed, and as long as Xanox had thrown up powers combined early enough, it would have worked, but that didn't. It was just a slight miss here and there, and then the Chaos Grimoire came out and completely messed up the positioning and threw off Randler's HP completely. I mean, it was a pretty quick turnaround mid-round, that round, but now we're in very last match. Very, very, very last round of this tournament, and once 2-3 is not showing a very strong showing with their first opening setup, as they are tanking almost all the damage so far.
Watch the damage coming through from Nye. He's playing this perfectly. That Tractor Beam followed through to some massive damage, and they've already forced out the ultimate from Randler. He's got only 1 EX at the end of it. He will be able to dodge the second ultimate coming through from Joltsy, but they are actually landing massive stuns. There's the panic going through as well, and vulnerability pop, but there's the crippling goo, and there's Randler taking huge damage. There's the ultimate, the spirits combine. An answer from Xanox, but he might go down here as he's stunned. He's chipped away. There's the flamethrower coming through. Ancestral Spirit should save him, and it does, but there's so many ultimates being forced just to stay even that now they're all spent. There's the first kill guaranteed. Xanox goes down. Jolty's got a beat on Randler, and he should be able to get the kill as he chases through, and indeed confirms it with the aid of Nye. And now, 1 ultimate to save the match, 1 ultimate to save the tournament, and it's not enough. And Intolerant take it in a reverse sweep in the final map of the best of 3.
That was a Clarity Potion that won. Like, that's what it looked like to me. The Clarity Potion damage, I think, won that match completely. But yeah, reverse sweep by Intolerant. Holy crap. Nicely done. At first, it looked like they weren't sure what to do, but they managed to figure out how to position themselves, how to just throw off Mycon's game and force Mycon into positions they didn't want to be in so that Intolerant could swarm around them, as they love to do, and do very well.
That was very, very fun to watch. And let me tell you one thing, I cannot wait for future weeks in the ESL tournament. Because if we're gonna get this every week, sign me up. And of course, because this is the ESL tournament, you do get the €150 prize pool to first place, but you also get points towards the ESL monthly tournament, which of course features significantly larger prize pools. I won't go ahead and quote exact prize money here because they changed the weekly this week because of the shift to 3v3, so I'm not entirely confident. I haven't checked, but it is significant, and the ESL monthly will of course be held appropriately enough at the end of the month at the start of the next. Deep breath. ESL 3v3 for the day is over. That's Go4Battlerite number 19 from ESL. My name has been TJ, joined by Shadow Fury and Drop Bear to make up twitch.tv/Battlerite RIGHT, which I would highly recommend you follow for the rest of this and all the ESL, all the various different Battlerite tournament action. It's really, really fun to watch, and if you haven't been following competitive Battlerite up to this point, go ahead and just drop a follow on this channel, because we have a whole bunch of cool projects around the corner. Of course, if you'd like to follow any of us on Twitter, you can follow the group of us and the Battlerite caster at all as at Battlerite Win, Drop Bear, the cameraman, and definitely the occasional caster for this broadcast. You can find him at Corrupt Drop Bear, me at Esports DJ, and Shadow at Shadow Fury 333. Thank you very much for watching this broadcast and spending your evening or morning with us. It's been great fun having you here. It's been great fun watching this tournament and getting to cast it. I am incredibly hyped, and I can't wait for next week. Have a great evening or rest of your day, depending on where you are in the world, and definitely with no strings attached, no anything. I'm going to make one demand of you, and that's that you go ahead and you sign up for next week's ESL Battlerite tournament, because this one was so very fun, and it's always fun to see new teams come on in. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to drop the link to the ESL Battlerite page in the Twitch chat, and it is targeted towards Europe, so there you go. As a reminder, though, I should note, and I think we're probably obligated to do this, I am with Battlerite RIGHT. We are not connected with Battlerite as the game or ESL as the organisation. We are volunteer community broadcasters, so anything we say cannot be reflected or held against ESL or Battlerite. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great evening.